You know, you might want to forget literally everything you thought you knew about global football. Seriously, the expanded 2026 World Cup has completely ripped up the script right out of the gate. We're talking unprecedented drama, absolutely shocking upsets, and, well, some pretty serious off-pitch turbulence too. Welcome to the Explainer on Game Week 1, Chaos and Records. Let's dive in.
So the chaos kicked off immediately. 3. That is the number of red cards handed out in just the opening match between Mexico and South Africa. Driven by a super ruthless VAR enforcement, it really set this fiery, volatile tone for the whole tournament. To put that into perspective, there were only 4 red cards handed out across the entire 2018 and 2022 tournaments combined. The officiating standard has definitely changed, and teams are really struggling to adapt on the fly.
All right, moving on to Section 1, Debutants who shocked the world. This is real David versus Goliath stuff.
Now consider this staggering contrast in expectations. On one side, you have Spain. They're a footballing superpower, reigning European champions and overwhelming minus 1,500 betting favorites. And on the other, Cape Verde. They're ranked 67th in the world and making their absolute debut at the tournament. Odds makers, pundits, literally everyone expected an absolute blowout. I mean, it was supposed to be a light training exercise for Spain. But you know what? On the pitch, the math just doesn't matter. Cape Verde's 40-year-old veteran goalkeeper Vozinha completely defied those astronomical odds, making his tournament debut at 40, which is amazing in itself. He pulled off 7 spectacular saves, marshaled his defense with just absolute authority, and secured a historic 0-0 draw. They frustrated Spain endlessly, conceding only a single foul the entire match. That actually set an all-time defensive record dating all the way back to 1966. It's super easy to get lost in all the stats. But Cape Verde's coach Bubista summed up the human element perfectly in just 3 words. It means everything. A historic shutout against a giant like Spain, that completely changes the lives of these players and their nation. It proves that ironclad tactical discipline can really level the playing field against world-class talent on the sport's absolute biggest stage.
And the crazy part is, Cape Verde wasn't alone. We saw the tiny island nation of Curacao stand toe-to-toe with 4-time world champions, Germany. When 20-year-old Levano Comencia fired a deflected shot past the legendary Manuel Neuer for an early equalizer, it perfectly symbolized the pure magic of this tournament. Now yeah, Germany eventually pulled away to win, but that fleeting moment of joy, it proves that on any given day, anyone can strike. Global scouting and shared tactics means smaller nations aren't just here to make up the numbers anymore.
Okay, Section 2, Legends, Records, and Chaos. We're looking at breathtaking milestones, rubbing elbows with some major administrative headaches.
First off, the sheer scale of this 48-team event is frankly staggering. The tournament just shattered the all-time daily stadium attendance record. On June 16th, over 281,000 fans packed into stadiums across the host cities. That massive turnout broke a daily attendance record that had basically stood untouched since the 1994 tournament in the United States. It's just a sea of humanity.
And those record-breaking crowds? Well, they were treated to absolute greatness in real time. We are talking about legendary players solidifying their legacies right in front of us. Lionel Messi delivered a clinical hat-trick, which ties Miroslav Klose's all-time tournament record of 16 goals. Then you have Kylian Mbappe scoring a brilliant brace to surpass Olivier Giroud as France's all-time leading scorer with 58 goals. Oh, and Harry Kane matched Gary Lineker's England record with his 10th tournament goal. Just pure, rapid-fire brilliance from the world's best.
However, the magic on the pitch was heavily clouded by some pretty massive off-pitch chaos. Thousands of fans were actually left stranded at stadium gates. It's a heartbreak perfectly captured by a fan named Bina Ramrup who said, "I didn't want a refund, I didn't want my money back, I wanted to go to the game." Massive technical friction between third-party resellers like StubHub and FIFA's official ticketing app led to a catastrophic breakdown. It literally forced ticket-holding fans to stand in the parking lot listening to the roaring crowds inside. Just a brutal situation.
Let's move to Section 3, the big teams stumble. Prepare to kiss your brackets goodbye.
Instead of the blowout victories everyone expected, the first week was defined by an unprecedented wave of ties. New Zealand took Iran to a 2-2 draw, Saudi Arabia held Uruguay to 1-1, and Egypt completely frustrated Belgium to finish 1-1 as well. This is a massive takeaway for the modern game. Well-organized, highly disciplined underdogs are becoming incredibly tough to break down. They are executing these perfect low-block defenses and relying on swift counterattacks, which completely neutralizes teams that traditionally dominate possession. And honestly, the pressure to break those underdogs down is forcing some really uncharacteristic, desperate mistakes from the top-tier teams. We even saw Switzerland, who totally dominated their match with 26 shots, surrender a dramatic 94th-minute own goal under intense late-game pressure from Qatar. That last-second collapse handed Qatar a historic first point outside their home country. Just wild stuff.
So, 85. Think about that number for a second. That was New Zealand's world ranking entering the tournament, the absolute lowest of all 48 teams playing. Yet, they went out and held 20th ranked Iran to a thrilling draw. The biggest lesson here? Rankings mean basically nothing right now. The gap in global talent is rapidly shrinking, largely thanks to players from smaller nations competing in top-tier European leagues all year round.
Which leads us perfectly into Section 4, the emerging global powerhouses. Let's look at the shrinking talent gap. Look no further than this incredible number 18. That is the age of the Moroccan midfield prodigy Ayoub Bouhaddi. Facing a highly experienced, veteran Brazilian squad, this teenager delivered an absolute masterclass. He recorded an astounding 91% pass accuracy, completely neutralizing the traditional South American giants to secure a 1-1 draw. I mean, it's definitive proof that world-class youth development is happening globally now, not just in traditional footballing hotbeds.
We're also seeing the United States firmly rise up on the world stage. Propelled by striker Folarin Balogun, the U.S. finally showcased a really lethal central focal point that they've frankly been missing for years. Balogun scored a clinical, history-making brace against Paraguay right in front of 70,000 roaring fans in Los Angeles. He became the first American to score multiple goals in a single tournament match in nearly a century. That signals a pretty bold new era for American football for sure.
And across the board, nations from Africa and Asia are seizing the incredible momentum provided by this expanded tournament. DR Congo's Yoani Wissa ended an agonizing 52-year goal drought with a dramatic header. Then you had Uzbekistan's Abospek Faizalayev scoring his nation's first ever tournament goal, and South Korea. They proved their immense tactical maturity with a stunning 80th-minute comeback win. The power dynamics of the sport are literally shifting right before our eyes.
Finally, let's hit Section 5, quick-fire stories and outro, the Game Week 1 finale.
The late-game drama was absolutely relentless. In the 76th minute, Canada's Silent Laren comes off the bench and equalizes in just 2 minutes. Fast forward to the 89th minute, Japan's Daiichi Kamada heads in this dramatic equalizer. And deep into stoppage time at the 95th minute, Ghana's Caleb Urinki taps in a crazy, rain-soaked winner. Absolutely no lead was safe in the dying moments of these matches. It was edge-of-your-seat stuff.
But you know, it wasn't just the goal scorers making the headlines. Defensive wizardry proved to be just as valuable. Bosnian veteran Sead Kolasinac produced this unbelievable, desperation sliding block that deflected a shore Canadian goal right onto the crossbar. It was like he defied gravity in the process. It was the perfect reminder that elite, gritty defending is absolutely essential if you want to survive in this tournament.
Which brings us to the ultimate question as we wrap up this explainer. Has this expanded 48-team format forever changed the landscape of world football? I mean, with heavyweights stumbling left and right and debutants proving with immense heart that they absolutely belong on the pitch with the big boys, you have to ask yourself, is this unpredictable, beautiful chaos the thrilling new normal for the global game? Let that sink in. Thanks for joining me, and keep your eyes on the pitch.